Problem that we see is that the primary becomes the entire election.
State lawmakers are exploring new ideas to find a way to cool down overheated politics. Public polling shows our country has been more polarized and divided in recent years than in any other time in modern history.
So what would happen if voters got to pick more than one candidate in crowded races? Our Capitol Bureau Chief Mark Maxwell is live in Springfield. So Mark, people are looking at the idea of ranked choice voting as a way to pick better politicians. How does this work?
Yeah, Jennifer, election reform advocates pose the question this way. Do you want your elected officials to show up to work and say the most controversial, offensive, or polarizing thing, just trying to get their name in headlines or provoke their opponents? Or would you rather have a more sober-minded, thoughtful, dedicated public servant who shows up and puts their head down, goes to work, tries to hammer out the difficult details in search of a compromise or reaching across the aisle? In recent years, we've really seen more of the former, where candidates are polarizing. They attract a lot of the attention and even the donations from contributors too. But even in winning adoration from a loyal group of voters on the far left or the far right, often they show little attempt at trying to appeal to everyone and win support from all their voters. That's one reason a growing number of Illinois senators are signing on to this idea to give voters a chance to rank their favorite candidates in order of preference instead of picking just one.
The person that comes out as a Republican nominee and the Democrat nominee tends to be more extreme. And so then when it gets around to the general and the more moderate voters come out to look for their candidates, they don't find either candidate they identify with. That's one of the reasons I like ranked choice voting. I think this is one way to try to make the candidates more like the general populace, which I think is somewhere in between the two extremes.
Recent elections have shown us how several examples where a loud, controversial candidate can sometimes exploit a big, crowded primary field with lots of candidates by just appealing to the far left or the far right and then carry that loyal band of voters all the way across to the finish line. With ranked choice voting, supporters see an election where the voters, or the vote count itself would help to weed out some of those more polarizing candidates and better take a consensus of broad opinion to see who is the most electable to fit everyone's preferences, not just a select few. Reporting in Springfield, Mark Maxwell, WCIA 3, your local news leader.